So I was talking to, I start every video that I ever create with, okay, so, I was talking through something this morning, because of a, technology will embarrass you every time. So I was talking about, I work in the children's ministry at my church, and I was telling someone this morning, I was like, I have a minimum in our praise and worship portion of the service that I allow the kids to do. And so we talk about it, and so I asked them, do you know what worship is? Do you know what praise is? And I explain it to them, based on, our belief system, based on the Bible. And they're like, okay, yeah. So I'm like, okay, so what's the minimum that we can do? We came up with it together. They said the least we could do is clap. The least we could do is sing along. I said, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm like, all right, okay, so that's the minimum. There is not a max that we put on it, right? They can dance, they can hop, they can skip, they can run, they can do TikTok dances for all I care. There is no minimum that they can do. There is no maximum that they can do, but there is a minimum that they can do. And so I was thinking, the other day in children's church, for whatever reason, we had a couple of kids who were just not really into it, right? Which, again, fine. Hi. Yeah, you were parked kind of funny, so I had to do a lot of maneuvering. So I was trying to think through how I could get them more involved. Hold on. And so let me clarify. It's not that this past Sunday we had a couple of kids who were not that into it, right? We had a few additional kids who aren't always there as much, and so their vibe was kind of and so that kind of transferred off. Now the other thing, so I had two thoughts. One is, things are weird to you if you've never seen them before. So at one point I'm thinking, okay, there are some kids in our class who are everywhere. They will run, they will spin, they will jump, they will dance, they'll get on the floor and do the worm. When we turn on praise and worship, they be like, this is my time to shine, right? And I encourage that, because the bigger their worship is now, the bigger it can stay later, right? So the next thing is, I've kind of pinpointed a few things, right? I am assuming, and I don't feel like I'm going to be wrong with this. I am assuming that the children that do the most dancing, the most off the wall stuff, they're running, they're jumping, they're doing whatever. I'm assuming that those are kids that get to dance out loud at home. Like, they jam with their parents or their siblings or whoever. They kind of jam out, and so they're like, yeah, we jam, so I'm jam. But then there are the kids in the back. Now, this is a really open space. There are no chairs. There's nothing. So they find a way, though, to line themselves up, and they just kind of clap and look at the other kids, right? And so I'm like, okay, y'all might be the kids whose parents don't do it. Y'all might be the kids whose parents haven't shown you what big worship looks like, And so on that, I say, parents, you probably should worship at home, because this is how you're gonna wind up with kids who you're like, oh, y'all can do this and that, and outside of this, whatever. But when y'all come to church, y'all act like y'all don't know how to lift y'all hands, whatever. Well, they never saw you do it. You don't do it at home. Now, see me, I'm a jook. In the car, out of the car, I'm a jook, period, to be honest. Throw on a song and give me a floor. I'm a two-step, I'm a wave, I'm a sway, I'm a do it. You know what I'm saying? But that's me, and that's just how I want people to be able to be around me. Second thing, apathy is contagious, right? So some of our kids who are there often, normally they would joke with us, like they'll do it, you know. I didn't know this was gonna be this long, but normally those kids will joke with us. But this time, they find themselves lined up in the back. Well, they already know Miss Shan. They line up in the back, and some of them I think do it on purpose, right? Because once I get them, they be like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna do it." I see them, and I go and I grab them. I grab their hand and I dance with them. I swing with them. I spin them around. We jam together. Then I grab another one, and we gonna jam, and we gonna jam, and we gonna jam, and we gonna jam. And if they choose to go back to just clapping and just singing along, I leave them alone. But everyone's gonna get a moment where I'm gonna make them bigger than they were in that time, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So consider it. Consider that apathy is contagious. And if parents are apathetic, then the children will be apathetic. Because that's what they know, and that's what's become their normal. Also consider that the opposite, which I don't have the word for the opposite right now in my head, but the opposite is probably also contagious. And I learned this when I was working with Young Life, and they call it old boy worship, which says that whatever I'm doing, them kids gonna do about 10% of. So every Sunday, I'm sweating out my edges. I am drenched, I am hot, and I am out of breath because I am jumping, spinning, twirling around in there because I want the kids to see it and it become normal to them. Also because 10% of what I'm doing is a little bit more than a singing along and clapping. And so that's what they match. So that's what they will match is, you know, they're going to match my energy in that way. Or they're going to attempt to match it, even if it's subconsciously, a little bit. So yeah, this is for whoever it's for, but I do want to challenge parents to maybe get a little wilder, a little bolder, a little bigger in your worship at home. All right, bye.